Mountain Dew for duty do.
Hollywood.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Split Screen Gaming Podcast. Sony E3 reactions. My name is Chad Michael Innes.
My name is Holden DePardo.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
I had no idea
boy,
recording.
boy.
I was looking at my phone, and all of a sudden, Chad starts screaming. And I'm like, "Oh shit, we're doing this now."
I don't think you know what screaming sounds like.
No, that was screaming and yelling, and I felt the hurt and the pain in my heart.
Why do you?
Or maybe it's a heart
hate?
attack. Maybe I'm having a heart attack right now because it was a really good conference.
You should get Life Alert.
I'm
concerned for you.
Yeah, I'll get a double pack, and I'll get one for me and my roommates, and we'll all be safe.
You should just get a Life Alert for when you forget your keys.
I do forget for the audience, I forget my keys all the time. My roommates took a piece of tape and wrote keys on it and put it on the door. That way I never forget my keys, and I still forget my keys.
You still forget your keys.
I still forget my keys, yeah.
Hey, everyone. PlayStation had a kick-ass conference, and we're going to talk about it right now. General thoughts, Holden, go.
General thoughts are, it was E3 2016 Part 2, but it was still good. There was good stuff shown, but it was E3 16 Part 2. There wasn't a lot of new stuff shown. It was a lot of, like, deeper looks at things we saw last year.
I feel like that is a trend in E3 in general for most stuff this year.
It's like TikTok. It's kind of like they show new stuff one year and they kind of recap on it the next year. And
just
the next
like
year,
TikTok, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like it's like a TikTok pattern.
I do think that it was presentation-wise, it was literally just games.
Yeah, I can't remember who I was talking to at work, but they said that everyone needs to steal Sony's format, which is, hi guys, there are games. Why don't you just watch them, and then eventually I'll tell you the program's over.
Yep. Yep.
That's how it should be.
It was a good 55, 60 minutes.
Is anyone excited when it's like, oh, cool, great, now the guy gets to explain that he's going to play the game and what we're going to play, and I'm so excited to hear him talk about this a little bit.
Oh, good, they have a live shoutcaster. Fantastic. Yeah, so I really love the presentation of it. I felt like everything that they showed off was incredibly solid.
Yeah.
That they showed off a lot of trailers of things that we've already seen or that we already know are coming, but showed new gameplay. Mm-hmm. But every single one of those games, I was like, that deserves to be at the press conference.
I think there are some games that I know other people that think are cool, so I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, it was solid throughout. But there are some games that, like Days Gone, that I'm still not convinced on Days Gone yet.
I was actually... I'm very impressed. After the trailer last year, I was like, yeah, I probably won't play this game. But now that I see that it does have a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn like stealth elements and the way you move around and shit like that, I'm very intrigued by it.
So here's one thing. Is it open world, or is it like a linear, like Uncharted, where you're just kind of like going forward all the time?
Nobody knows.
And if it's open world, I think that's interesting. But if it's just a linear path throughout, it just seems like it's going to be Last of Us with faster zombies.
Nobody knows.
They're not zombies. Well, they're not zombies?
They're tweakers?
They're tweakers?
I think they're tweakers.
They're zombies, come on.
You're zombies.
No, I'm a human being.
Surprise-wise, this was actually Shadow of the Colossus being completely remade from scratch for PS4 by Bluepoint.
I cannot wait. So I read an article, I got confirmation on like what it will be.
Yeah.
It is just Shadow of the Colossus, but remade. They're not adding anything else. It's the same. So, like, there were these, I guess, Colossi they hadn't used in the original Shadow of the Colossus game. They're not bringing them back, is what it sounds like.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that, too, because that game is so well regarded. Don't fuck with it, kind of.
Yeah.
It's a classic. I've also never played the game all the way through, just because I only played it on PS Now when it was kind of laggy, and the controls were already kind of laggy to begin with.
Yeah, that's the thing I hope they update is the controls.
They said they're updating the controls. But they also said you can go back and revert them to the old ones if you want to.
I mean,
I thought that was interesting. But
yeah. If you want it, you want it.
But it is a remake from the ground up completely.
Very intrigued by that. That's the moment where it came on and everyone in the theater was just like,
I remember I turned to you and I'm like, this is Shadow of the Colossus. And they hadn't said it yet, but I'm like, I think this is it. And
yeah, that was. Can you see the bridge?
The bridge, yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Which is one of the most iconic shots in that game.
My nipples were so hard, and I remember saying that out loud in the movie theater. My nipples are so hard.
But that definitely got one of the bigger reactions from the audience as well. I don't think anyone expected that. There was no rumors of a Shadow of the Colossus.
See, what I did like about E3 this year, aside from Ubisoft and
Ubisoft,
is that there weren't a whole lot of leaks. Like, going into Sony's conference, we had not heard anything about what was coming.
I wouldn't fight you on that. I think everything leaked like last year when Sony talked about it at last E3.
Well, everything leaked. We didn't know we were going to see a gameplay trailer for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
we didn't know we didn't know Shadow Colossus was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing applies to aside from knowing that these things existed, the same thing applies to Bethesda. We didn't know what they were going to show off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing applies to Microsoft. So I really enjoyed that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sony's conference, super well paced.
Very well paced. Let's get into some of the games. Kind of talk deep in the games. They opened with Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Oh man,
which I didn't need to see a trailer for that. I don't want to see anything more about the game. I know I'm just going to play it.
I knew going in that I was just going to play that game and I was going to love it. But what I did enjoy about seeing that trailer is that all of the Uncharted typical stuff is in this game as well. And we already know it's going to be a longer experience. I am more confident now, after seeing that trailer, that this game will prove that Uncharted can live on without Nathan Drake.
Do you think they'll make it a franchise without him?
I think they're going to check in on, take the temperature of the sales on this and see. But
I mean, this is going to sell very well.
Absolutely. Everything about Uncharted that you expect to be there.
And honestly, I think I'm going to get this not just so much because it's Uncharted, but it's another Naughty Dog game. And there's the level of polish and the level of just high technology they put in their games, while it's still also being a really good game at the same time, is unparalleled on PlayStation at least.
Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds was next.
They teased that. They didn't really show a whole lot.
Yeah.
But when's that coming out?
That's coming out. It just said 2017.
Okay.
We didn't mention this at all, but Sony knows how to put on a fucking show.
We did mention this.
No, we didn't. We talked about pacing and things like that, but we didn't talk about the show opening with the sitar player and the drums and the fucking fountain the waterfall coming down with the projections on it.
I'll say at first I'm like, they're playing the music, I'm like, all right, this is interesting. And then they started doing the water effect, and I'm like, all right, that's super cool.
And then it's fucking snowing, and they made it snow in the theater for the Horizon Zero Dawn trailer.
Yep.
And for Days Gone, there are zombies hanging from. There are people.
Hey, you got to give Phil Spencer credit, because he started on a stage in the middle of the crowd. It was so dope.
No, man, Sony knows how to put on a show, and that was
very
exciting
impressive.
To watch. When they were like, all right, you're going through in Days Gone this kind of little sliver between these two mountains, and then there's zombies hanging down, and then they pan out and show you the actual theater, and there are real life zombies freaking out, hanging from the ceiling.
I remember even Sean, who was what's his name, Sean
Layden.
Yeah, Sean Layden comes like, I had no idea these were going to be here.
He totally I had to walk under zombies to get out here right now.
He did know they were going to be there. He definitely knew.
Yeah, they know how to put on a show.
They do.
And last year they had the live orchestra.
Yep.
The entire time. It was fucking phenomenal. Monster Hunter World. That was a surprise to me.
That was a surprise.
That was coming to PS4.
It was also the first Monster Hunter game I saw that I was impressed by.
Yeah.
I've never been impressed by Monster Hunter until seeing that.
Yep.
Honestly, it's just because the graphics of the PS4 can pull off. I'm sure. Right. I'm assuming this is coming to PlayStation or Xbox as well.
Yes, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah. Just the monsters and how detailed
the monsters,
yes. Yeah, the monsters are going to be there. The monsters, and they're so detailed, and it felt more like a breathing environment as opposed to like the 3DS version of Monster Hunter I played, where it's like walk down this corridor, and then in another nature-looking corridor, you're going to see a monster, and he'll run into another corridor. You have to chase him in
20 feet. Load into a new area.
Yeah.
Run 20 feet. Load into a new area.
So this looks totally legit. I just want to know more about it because it's still a very hard series to get into because there's a lot of moving parts in those games.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how they handle that and if they can kind of get non-fans of the franchise like myself into it.
Yep. Shadow of the Colossus remake. We already talked about that.
Yep.
Can't fucking wait. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite got a story trailer that was... the game looks visually like kind of just meh. Mm-hmm. At first I was like, is this the free-to-play online MMO? And I was like, oh no, there's Capcom characters in it. There's a free demo out for that right now for the story part.
Call of Duty World War II is up next. And it looks like a Call of Duty game.
Yep.
I'm sure someone will correct us and say it's more than just that, but it really just feels like another Call of Duty game.
I've read actually a lot of articles from people who are playing it at E3, and they're saying that it lacks heart and it lacks the gravity of being in World War II.
Really?
It's just a mindless shooter in World War II.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Because that's what Call of Duty is. It's a mindless shooter. They can get away with it back in 2002 when graphics weren't as solid, but when you have Battlefield 1 that came out last year, that was... I never played it, but I watched my roommate play a ton of it. It just felt like you were in a battlefield. Like, it's totally a terrible pun there, but like...
Oh, that's why they called it Battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Love is a battlefield.
They say that fun is battle.
Oh my god, we'll get to that later. Next up, they had a big chunk of like a dedicated portion to PSVR, and I was very excited to see that. Just make sure that they are still on track, and they give us a lot of things to look forward to.
The biggest one was Skyrim VR.
Yeah, Skyrim VR.
Which full motion controls inside of it and everything.
Yeah.
Here's something I have a question for. I don't expect you to have an answer. Fallout 4 is not going to be on PSVR, but it will be on PC with the Oculus Rift and the Vive.
Correct.
Why is Skyrim on PlayStation, but Fallout 4 isn't? Is it like a business thing, or is it just a technical, like, Skyrim is easier to put on there? But if it's the remastered version of Skyrim, are they that much different from...
I have a feeling this is not full-fledged Skyrim. I have a feeling this is a tailored Skyrim experience in VR.
Oh.
I don't think it is the full game that you're getting.
That's
kind of like Doom. It's not Doom in VR, but it is a tailored
that
VR
dumb
experience.
Doom VR game. Yeah, so
but it's like Super Mario RPG. Yeah, it's Doom VFR. That was
not
us.
the
That's
same
our
thing.
Conversation.
That's not the same thing. That's not even the same thing.
Well, it's exactly the same thing.
No, it's not, Chad. You don't know anything about video games.
Supermassive Games, who did Until Dawn, announced the Inpatient, which is like set 40 years before Until Dawn.
Yep.
As a VR game.
Mm-hmm.
The Moss, the little rat mouse game.
You're skipping over the best one.
Hold on. We'll get to Final Fantasy 15 Fishing
That's
Challenge.
exactly the one I'm talking about.
Star Child looked meh. I really don't even know what that is.
I'm literally looking at it and going, what the fuck was Star Child again?
That was the one where it had like the
2001: A Space Odyssey, the VR
game.
like Star Child.
Bravo Team. That looks like it uses the PlayStation Aim controller, the gun accessory. So I'm excited to try that out. But yeah, then you can also go fishing for Monsters of the Deep in Final Fantasy 15. I assume that's free because I think they said that there's a free VR.
It's like the Star Wars Battlefront ones. It's going to be free.
Yeah.
So then after that, they jumped into the good games.
Good games? I mean, we've already talked about Uncharted, Shadow of the Colossus, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Those are just not good games. Next, they go into God of War, which
it's
so good.
So titties.
Oh,
so
man.
Titties.
And
there are going to be a lot of titties in it because it's God of War.
It looks like they're changing a lot about God of War for this, though. So I'm sure they won't get rid of that.
All right, they're just replacing all the titties with dicks.
Kratos has already been in the game. So yeah, this looks so radically different than God of War. I actually only played the Ghost of Sparta and...
Really? You bought... the 3 remaster.
I haven't played it yet, though.
Like a month ago, right?
Yeah, it was like $4. I'm like, I'll play this eventually, so I bought it. No, it was Ghost of Sparta, and what was the other one? Chains of Olympus.
I've platinumed every single one of those.
That's a hard game to platinum.
Not really.
Not really?
Oh. No.
Because you have to beat it on like God mode, don't you?
Yeah, you have to beat it on God mode, but it's not that bad.
I couldn't play those games in God mode, but I'm also not into those like action games like that. I'm very curious though, because this looks so much different than the God of War games in the sense of... I'm not getting the sense that you're going to be going after combos and things like that.
The combat that they showed off with his axe and things like that, it did look like there were very specific... Like, there's not a combo multiplayer.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
After, but yeah, there are
combos he's doing,
very
I'm sure.
Specific
but there's no, like, times 20 or something like that showing up. So they're really changing the game with that a lot, and it is seriously one of the best looking games.
Oh, it's beautiful.
On PS4.
It's
gorgeous. When that snake monster like comes out of the water... Damn, that was
What did he say? He wants to help us.
Yeah. Super cool.
God of War, coming early 2018.
Yep.
Detroit Become Human, I think actually this might have been the low point of it for me.
Oh, really? It was not necessarily a high point, but of the 3 games that Quantic Dreams has shown off, in terms of like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, this one intrigues me the most.
It definitely is intriguing. I feel like this trailer was way too long.
It was definitely too long.
And it was very repetitive in what it was revealing to us. And I felt like their presence last year was much, much stronger. What they showed off last year with the gameplay.
What was cool, though, and what I haven't liked about Heavy Rain is I felt like I was just kind of watching a movie and hitting the X button when I wanted something to happen, and then not hitting the X button if I didn't want it to happen. Whereas this, it seems
you didn't
like...
play Heavy Rain.
I've just seen footage of it. I didn't. Put
it might look like that, but that you're doing a lot more in that game than it looks like.
Okay. This looks more like you're in this open space, you're wandering around it, and they kind of highlight with this like orange like hologram almost like what you could do.
Yeah.
And then you kind of going to it will enact that happening.
Yep.
So it seems like it's much more involved, which I appreciated. They didn't really go into the story too much of it, other than you are some sort of like rebel group of androids trying to
androids who
win
become
back
sentient, and you're like, why don't we have rights?
Yeah,
and you're trying to free the rest of the androids and fight back.
Mm-hmm.
You got a Destiny 2 trailer, and then finish it out with a kick-ass Spider-Man trailer. The traversal looks so smooth in that game and so fun. It has very Batman-looking combat.
Yeah.
I'm very into that.
I just loved how you would look around the environment and you'd see these things that had like the R button on it or something like that. And then you'd hit the R button and in an act, you'd like pull something out of the wall and they have it hit a guy in the head. Like I loved those little moments kind of coming up. What I love though is how it looks like you're literally just shooting a web out. And it latches onto things, and the physics around that is realistic. Like when he went into the wall, he's I'm blanking the word here. He swung right into the building, and then just started to climb up the building. Yeah, so cool, so cool. So I can't wait to play that. That seems like one of those games where even if I'm not doing missions, I'm just going to be having fun swinging around the city.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that. It's going to be fun. 2018. I'm thinking that's going to be a fall 2018.
Yeah,
game.
Probably.
And that was
it. That was the end of their conference. What I loved, they did something different, and we talked about this. I kind of wish other people would do this too. They did a pre-show for an hour where they just kind of talked before the conference.
And they announced a ton of stuff in that too.
They did, yeah. But it was like a super informal kind of thing. And I kind of wish that that's what Microsoft had done, that they had been like, cool, we're going to announce some of this other smaller shit out before, and then we're just going to hit you with the big guns for a solid 45, 60 minutes.
Yeah, because I'd rather have that, because then your conference is only like an hour long, and there's still kind of more stuff to look forward to if you're online,
right?
Like reading the news and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they did a good job. I guess for me, I wasn't super blown away by their conference, only because I had seen so much of it. Like most of it, I had already seen.
Right, and that's just a trend in general for this E3.
Yeah,
we kind of knew everything. There were no real surprises,
except for one company.
Except for one, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
well, in another podcast.
Two companies. Devolver Digital as well. Was very
Devolver Digital. Yeah. God, should we have a separate breakout for Devolver Digital?
It'd be weird to have a podcast longer than the actual conference itself. Or just posting a 5-minute episode.
If you guys get the chance, watch Devolver Digital's 15-minute E3 presentation.
Watch it in a not safe for work environment. It's not safe for work.
Freaking hysterical. They had 2 games that they showed off. One of them looked actually really, really rad. The other one was another Serious Sam, but kind of 2D.
Yeah.
But...
what was the good one?
Ruined looked kick-ass.
Yeah.
And Serious Sam looked like Serious Sam in 2D.
Yeah. But we're here for a PlayStation talk right now. Why did you bring up Devolver, Chad?
You did it.
No, I didn't. You're lying.
I do want to touch on just a couple things they announced in the pre-show.
Yeah. Super Hot VR.
Super Hot, headed to PSVR.
Yep.
Awesome. Very excited about that.
By the way, it's PS4 and PSVR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you'll be able to get, I'll be able to buy a PS4 version of that game.
Okay.
It's not just VR.
Okay.
Which I'm happy about, because I'm going to get it
That's summer. The game that...
it's not a VR game originally.
Well, it's the one where you when you move, time.
Yeah, so you basically have a level that's really only 5 seconds long.
Yeah,
but it only progresses through time slowly as you move.
Yeah, so that's one that I think in VR, being seeing bullet trails coming at you, being able to look around the environment, and then
it'll
as
be better
you move
in VR
to the left,
sure.
The bullets start coming towards you. It's going to be so much. It's that game was made for VR.
It
wasn't literally made for VR. But it's
enhanced and made better by VR, yeah.
Xbox One launch exclusive. Another one was the PlayLink. PlayLink is a cool new thing that Sony showed off to make things more accessible. Like a handful of what looked like to be really cool social games. What did you just do?
I just unplugged my headphones back.
Oh, you dumb bitch. Yeah, give it to me. I'll plug it back in. That's what she said.
I messed up, guys. As usual.
So it's social-focused games using your smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them was from Supermassive. They are busy. Same people who did Until Dawn.
Yeah.
one was Hidden Agenda, and it's a crime thriller that everyone's sitting around, and it's kind of like Heavy Rain, where you have different options of ways you could go about things or different interrogation methods. On them. Yeah, but you're voting kind of anonymously from your device. And then sometimes one of you will get a hidden agenda that you have to try to convince
you kind of start with a hidden agenda is what it seemed like.
Yeah.
So you have this hidden agenda, and you kind of have to sway the group in this direction, but you can't lead anyone on to that happening.
Yeah.
It reminds me of those mafia games you play as a kid, where it'd be like, all right, everyone close their eyes. And only the people who are like mafia members like look up. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it's in video games now.
Super exciting.
So our imaginations are gone.
And then they showed another one off with Shuhei Yoshida, rest in peace. And it's like one of those board. He's not actually dead. Holden's just a racist. Where you take a picture of everyone, and then it asks you like there's a fun board game that it mimics. And it's like, who would be the most likely to fall asleep at a party? And everyone votes, and then it's like, take a picture of this person and make them look like a cop in riot gear, and everyone has to draw whatever they think riot gear looks like. It looks like a fun kind of. If you're drunk,
I remember what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The totally drunk party game.
Yeah.
Totally drunk party game.
So that's something that's really cool, and it looks like it's like a actually tailored experience. Mm-hmm. A handful of games made by Sony, it looks like, as well, since they're kind of contracting out with second parties. What are you looking for?
Where's my phone now? Did I sit on my phone? I just sit on my phone.
Probably.
Man, I'm just like all over the place tonight.
So yeah, Sony, another pretty good conference.
Yeah, they don't usually have bad conferences.
No.
So
I left that theater knowing exactly what I was excited for in the future.
By the way, we need to let our audience know about that. We went to go see this at a movie theater.
We let them know.
Did we?
In like 2 podcasts.
Okay, well, right now, if they didn't listen to that podcast,
why were they listening to this one out of order?
Because maybe they just saw this.
They just jump in and say, "I want to look at 2 random dudes." Yeah, we went to the PlayStation E3 experience. Got some cool swag. Mm-hmm. Threw away one of the swags.
Chad goes, "Hey, Holden, do you want my thing?" And now I was going to throw mine out too.
We get digital stuff too. Did you redeem your code?
I have not redeemed the code yet.
If you go to the website, redeem your code, and then it showed like a big list of like 10 games. It's like, you get exclusive content for these 10 games. But cool. You redeem your code, and then they say, "Cool, we'll email you the stuff in a few weeks."
Oh,
like, okay.
All right.
So I don't know what we get yet, but
we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was our PlayStation E3 reactions.
Yeah, I guess what was your game of the E3 for PlayStations? What was the big game for
you? I don't know. I mean, the 3 things that stood out for me were God of War, Shadow of Colossus, and Spider-Man.
I'm trying to think if I had anything different, but I think I had the same thing.
I mean, I was also. I mean, I'm now interested in Days Gone, where I wasn't really that interested before.
Still not interested.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
cool, guys. Stay tuned, and another episode coming out literally minutes after this one about Nintendo.
Very exciting.
Dun, dun, dun. Shut up.